Hey my guys, welcome to the channel today. We're just doing a short video which is a little bit more philosophical perhaps, or more arbitrary, which is things that I wish I had known when I started playing the game. I played basically from the beta, so basically from one of the very first days. One of my friends who was playing a different game with me said, "Oh, by the way, look at this game. I know you like Star Wars. Maybe you should try this." Tried it. I loved it. I haven't played the whole time because I stopped playing for a little while in the middle when I immigrated to America, which is where I live now. But for maybe 9 months, I stopped because honestly, immigrating was a massive, massive thing in my life. So, things that I wish I had known, assuming, of course, all the rules that apply now by then. Because, of course, for example, in those days, it was five refreshes, five attempts at any node, then they turned into eight per node, then they put it back to five again, then they doubled the shards and all of it. So, assuming rules for today. So the first thing um, I wish someone had said really clearly, and this is a very obvious one, is you should always finish your farms, right? And if you pick something, if you want to get a certain character, go for that character. Don't change your mind halfway through. Don't go for the new hotness rather than the old guy, right? So, like, say you're really tempted to get, say Cal Kestis came out earlier this year, a few months ago. If you were in the middle of farming for Padme, say, which apparently is the same level in terms of what it is you'll be doing, stick to getting Padme. Don't switch in the middle because you have to get a whole set of new characters, probably start from scratch with all of them. All the game to stick to your farm. So whether it be someone like Padme, which is five characters out of a whole choice of separatist type characters, whether it is Jedi Training Rey, which is very specific characters, or Darth Revan, or even a ship, whatever it is, pick it, stick to it. You will do better that way. I know I have fallen into more than once before when I've been like, wow, man, that character looks amazing. Started doing it and then realized that I was nowhere near doing this new character, and it really was designed for people who were opening their credit cards, which is fine, and that's part of how the game survives. But it's bad for the average player if you're just ticking along. You're not going to do it. And I guess on a related thing, the next thing that I wish someone had said earlier on, and then this is not as easy for me because ships didn't exist right at the start, but they did exist a little into the game, which is farm your ships early, right? They have never doubled the drops for ships, right? They've never taken them from one shard to two shards per node. Farm your ships. I am someone who, like I said, has played pretty much the whole time, and you can see, ignore these two, they're relatively new ships, whatever. Emperor Palpatine shuttle. I have never unlocked it. Ever. I've got a Relic 7 Palpatine. I've had a Relic 7 Palpatine for 3 years now since I got SLKR. Um, let me see, there's at least another couple that are really bad. I mean, that one's a newish one still. These two are fine, I guess. Where is he? Where is that? There we go. Vulture Droid's another one, right? The BTLB sandwich, right? The Reaper, the collector. Always, always, always farm some ships when you're doing your daily farming. Pick one ship, work it down. It'll take ages, but we've all seen how few ships there are compared to characters. And honestly, fleets matter so much, especially the top end. When you've got three defensive fleets and three attacking fleets, and you've seen as well how they repurpose ships. Like, for example, the B-28 Extinction class bomber, which is a beautiful looking ship, it's a really nice model, is now part of the Leviathan fleet, right? But a year ago, it was a ship that just did nothing, right? It was just an extra ship that no one cared about. So they're always likely to repurpose a ship because there's so few of them, rather than release a whole another 8 ships of a fleet or 6 ships of a fleet, right? So farm your ships, just keep to it, and don't drop doing them like I have done with several ships. I'm working on Palpatine's Palpmobile right now, as you can tell by the fact that I'm finally starting to unlock it, right? Um, I thought that would be the first one, but I need to then go back and do the Vulture Droid and the Bomber after that. Okay, next thing, mods. Now, mods is something I'm actually not super shocking at, but we'll just click on his mods are bad, but we'll just use it as an example. Farm your mods every day and go to a pattern. Actually, do it really systematically, right? Regularly go into your mods, slice them all up, delete the mods without speed, and get yourself good mods, right? Often, let me just do this. Yeah. Go through anything that doesn't have good speed. Ask them. I would say good speed has to be at least 10 speed, right? Now arrows are a bit different, right? Because obviously speed primes on arrows. But if we take other ones, right, like that one there, I should really just sell that one. Or that one's, see that one there, I should sell it. It has been sliced very well. Didn't hit any of the things. Should get rid of that one. Speed 10 is like your base. I mean, I use some of these ones for trash characters I'm never going to use, I guess, for the time being. Um, but really, if I had enough time and enough money, I would just axe all of these, just get over 10, just anything better than that. And you can see that his brother, for example, has 15 there. Let's see, 9, I really should do better with that one. 9. He hasn't got the best mods in him. But you can see an example there at 16. These three here, I really should axe because the other three are great for him. These three should all be like 15 each, and they're not. So farm your mods quickly, farm your mods efficiently, do it every single day, slice them regularly. Honestly, I personally prefer slicing when they're green purple rather than all the way from grey. But each to their own. Some people prefer to go from grey onwards. It's personal choices for some of these things. I personally prefer to just take them from higher up when I actually can see more of the secondary notes or the secondary stats already. So it feels like less of a risk to me than some of the ones. However, different people, different choices. There's some really good modding guides out there. Look one up, take one, stick to it, and just keep doing it. Okay. Number fourth, these are things that I should have done. I'm just, I do them now for the most part, but, I wish I had done them obviously from the start. Well, this is how never buy characters with crystals unless you desperately have to. Never ever do that. Always buy value. Right, whereas ship reader. Once you get all these characters maxed out, so these guys. So first, you obviously do the characters first. Obviously, do that. Right. Don't worry about the gear too much. What you really should do is collect prestige. Prestige is needed for every capital ship going, and they've now gone into a system of, for the past 3 years, 3 new capital ships, each time better than the last one in terms of the meta. So they need a ton of prestige to max out their skills. So once you've got all the characters unlocked, start stockpiling this. Your credits will work themselves out, honestly. With credit, the credit highest that you get, if you do Grand Arena, you get 100k per win per match inside the Grand Arena. This will build up over time. And you can always stop spending credits for a little while to rebuild them back up if you need to. Prestige is something you can't build up quickly, but you need when you unlock a ship like the Negotiator, the Malevolence. If you're early on in the game, if you unlock the Executor, you need a ton of that stuff to get all these abilities up to their max levels. And you don't want to be sitting there with a ship, which I have done this once before, the Executor specifically, where you have your ship, it's level 85, it's 4-star, you've just unlocked it with your Relic 8 Piet, and you're super happy, and then all the skills are stuck at like level 2 because you don't have the materials to actually skill them up. So, and that kind of goes for ship credits too. Build ship credits up as well, because those two also, you can run out of those very quickly relative to speaking to normal credits. Now, the last thing that's, I guess, the most important thing of all, perhaps, and you can see it really clearly from my grind rate. So this week, I have an account that's just short of 9 million. I have 5 GLs. I have the Profundity, I have the Executor, I have Relic 9 characters, I have Grand Inquisitor, I have Malgus, I have Cat, I have Maul. I have not quite everything. I don't have Cal Kestis, but I have Dr. Aphra, I've got Starkiller, right? So, I haven't got Cal Kestis, haven't got Leia, haven't got Lord Vader, haven't got Sith Eternal Emperor Palpatine, haven't got the Leviathan. There's always a bigger fish in this game, and never ever think you can just get rounded by spending more money, or spending any money to be fair, or by some other crazy tactics. Sometimes you're just outgunned in fights. This week in Grand Arena, my 8.8 million account, as it was when it froze for the lock, the minimum account opponent I fought against was 10.1 million with 7 GLs and Reaver. And the worst account I fought against was 12.3 million GP with Reaver, Leviathan, and all 7 GLs. And he looks like he's ready to go and get Leia soon, looking at the characters he's got in his roster. There's always a bigger fish. There's always someone better than you. Do not get stressed out about it. Do not worry about it. It's not your fault if you come up against a Relic 9 Jabba the Hutt on the front wall, and your Relic 8 SLCal fails that one time, which is what happened tonight, actually, ironically. Um, you just sometimes lose, and you just have to accept it. You have to be cool with it, and just be chilled. Always, always a bigger fish. So, with that being said, like, subscribe, follow, whatever it is that we do on YouTube. And remember that the game is for fun. So even if you lose sometimes, and even if it's not the greatest thing, just be cool by it. Actually, now that I think of it, there is one more thing I should say. Don't be afraid to move guild. This is something that's more prevalent to people early on. I just noticed that when it's sitting here. This is how great live video recording is, right? Once you think of something in the middle and you say, well, I'm going to go back and edit it. I'm like, I do not have time to edit this at 1 a.m. However, always look for better guilds. If your guild is not doing what you want it to do, move guild, right? Because, like, for example, here we're doing the crate tracker rating, we're doing fine, and this is exactly what we want. We're getting the materials. You need the 1, 2, and 3 sets of tokens. All great. But if you really want Reaver shards, go for a guild with Reaver shards in. If you really want a guild that is maximizing X or Y, just change guild. The people who were in your guild will still be your friends if you want to keep in friends and in touch with them. But if they don't match up to your goals, you're not going to enjoy the game if you stick with them rather than moving. So that's a small extra one. Just keep on your toes, move when you need to, and don't stick around too long, and don't outgrow the guild that you're part of. Anyway, now you can and so on follow videos. And just as always, guys, have a really, really great rest of your day.